We live in a world that celebrates openness, sharing, and connection, but in the midst of this sharing culture, there are some things that should remain personal and protected. Today, I want to talk to you about 5 things you should never share with anyone, not out of mistrust, but out of wisdom and self-respect. Some things are sacred, personal, and integral to our safety and mental peace. Oversharing can make us vulnerable, not only emotionally, but sometimes even physically or financially. Protecting your personal boundaries is not secrecy, it's self-care. Let's explore the 5 things you should always keep private, and why safeguarding them can make your life stronger and more secure. One of the most crucial things you should never share with anyone is your personal financial information. This includes your bank account numbers, credit card details, online banking passwords, PIN codes, and even sensitive information like your social security number or tax documents. In the modern world, where most of our financial transactions occur digitally, this kind of information is like a key to your entire financial life. Sharing it, even with people you trust, can open the door to identity theft, fraud, and irreversible financial damage. You may think it's harmless to give a friend your card to buy something online, or to tell a family member your banking login for convenience, but these actions can backfire, even unintentionally. Cybercriminals are constantly on the lookout for loose ends. If your financial information is stored or shared through unsecure devices or apps, or passed casually through texts or emails, it can easily be intercepted or misused. Even if the person you share it with has no ill intentions, they might not be as careful as you would be in keeping your information safe. Also, sharing your financial details can create uncomfortable dynamics in relationships. Money is deeply personal. If someone knows exactly how much you earn, save, or owe, it may lead to judgment, jealousy, or even manipulation. You may find yourself being asked for loans or favors, or feel pressured into financial commitments that you're not comfortable with. These situations often lead to tension and broken trust. Your financial information is a cornerstone of your independence and security. It is your responsibility to safeguard it. Instead of sharing it, use secure platforms, enable two-factor authentication, and store important documents in safe, private locations. If you need help managing your finances, turn to licensed professionals, not casual acquaintances. Remember, once your financial data is compromised, it's difficult to regain control. Prevention is always better than damage control. It's natural to feel excited about your dreams, goals, and the vision you have for your life. Whether it's starting a business, planning a big move, writing a book, or switching careers, future plans often fill us with enthusiasm. However, sharing those plans too early or too widely can do more harm than good. One of the biggest reasons to keep your goals private, at least initially, is that not everyone will understand or support your vision. Some may criticize your ideas, question your abilities, or discourage you, either out of genuine concern, misunderstanding, or even subtle jealousy. This negative energy can plant seeds of doubt in your mind, especially when your plans are still in their fragile, formative stage. Premature sharing also creates psychological pressure. Studies in goal-setting psychology suggest that when we talk about our goals, we sometimes trick our brain into thinking we've already made progress. That feeling of early validation can actually reduce our motivation to follow through, because the act of sharing gives us a sense of premature accomplishment. In other words, just saying it out loud to others can falsely satisfy our drive to achieve it. Moreover, sharing your plans too soon can lead to unnecessary competition or even sabotage. People might take your ideas, mimic your moves, or put obstacles in your way. This isn't about being paranoid, it's about being strategic. Until your foundation is secure and the groundwork is laid, it's safer to protect your plans and let your actions speak for themselves. Another reason to be cautious is the unpredictability of life. Plans evolve. Goals shift. What you're confident about today might need adjustment tomorrow. If you've already made your ambitions public, you may feel pressured to stick with something that no longer feels right, just to avoid embarrassment or judgment. This can hold you back from adapting to better opportunities or new directions. Ultimately, Your future plans deserve the same care and protection as seeds planted in a garden. Exposing them too soon is like digging up the soil before they've had time to sprout. Nurture them in private, work quietly, and when the results are visible, let the world see what you've accomplished. Every family, no matter how close, knit, or loving, experiences its share of struggles. There may be conflicts, misunderstandings, financial difficulties, health problems, or other deeply personal matters that unfold behind closed doors. While it might be tempting to talk about these issues with friends, coworkers, or even on social media, sharing private family matters with outsiders can often lead to more harm than healing. Family issues are sensitive and complex. They often involve multiple perspectives, long histories, and emotional ties that outsiders can neither fully understand nor properly navigate. When you talk about a family member's behavior or decisions without their knowledge, you're not just venting. You're potentially exposing someone's vulnerabilities or mistakes in a way that they may never have agreed to. This can lead to broken trust, resentment, and even lasting damage to your family bonds. Moreover, once private information leaves your mouth, you lose control over how it's interpreted or spread. People may gossip, judge, or form opinions based on a single version of a much larger story. Even if you're just seeking advice or sympathy, your words can easily be misused or taken out of context. And if the situation improves later, as family issues often do, those outsiders may continue to hold onto the negative image you shared, affecting how they treat or view your loved ones. There's also a deeper reason to protect your family's privacy: dignity. Every family deserves the dignity of handling its challenges internally without the scrutiny of others. Speaking publicly about private problems can erode that sense of respect. It can make your home feel less like a safe haven and more like an open book, where anyone feels entitled to comment or interfere. Of course, this doesn't mean you should suffer in silence or avoid seeking help when it's genuinely needed. But there's a difference between confiding in a trusted counselor or mentor and broadcasting your family's struggles to anyone who will listen. When you do need support, it should come from a source that respects confidentiality and offers constructive guidance, not from those who may simply listen for the sake of gossip. Protecting private family matters isn't about hiding your pain, it's about honoring the people you love even when times are tough. Families, like individuals, deserve space to heal, grow, and resolve things away from public scrutiny. Everyone has a past. We've all made mistakes, faced failures, or gone through dark and difficult periods in life. These experiences help shape who we are, often making us stronger, wiser, and more resilient. However, not everyone needs to know the full story of your past, especially when it involves personal failures, regrets, or vulnerabilities. Sharing your past mistakes or weaknesses with the wrong people can be emotionally risky and even damaging to your reputation or relationships. While transparency and honesty are important, discernment is equally vital. Some individuals may appear supportive on the surface, but may later use your openness against you, whether through judgment, gossip, manipulation, or betrayal. Once you've shared something deeply personal, you can't unshare it. That information is now in someone else's hands, and not everyone handles it with the care it deserves. There are also social and professional consequences to consider. In certain environments, such as workplaces, academic settings, or new relationship, revealing too much about your past missteps too soon can color how others perceive you. People may form biased opinions, question your capabilities, or make unfair assumptions, even if you've completely changed and grown. First impressions matter, and if your past becomes the focus before people get to know your present self, it can overshadow the progress you've made. Another reason to be cautious is that some people have a tendency to define others by their lowest moments. They may not see the lesson you learned or the strength you gained. Instead, they may fixate on the mistake itself and reduce your identity to it. This can lead to one-sided narratives where your past becomes a label, not a lesson. That's not to say you should hide who you are or be ashamed of your past. In fact, when shared with the right person, someone trustworthy, empathetic, and mature, your story can inspire, connect, and even help others heal. The key is knowing your audience. Vulnerability is powerful, but it should be offered selectively, not indiscriminately. Also, it's important to remember that healing is a personal journey. You don't owe your history to anyone who hasn't earned the right to hear it. Oversharing before you've fully processed an experience can reopen wounds and delay your own growth. It's okay to hold certain parts of your story close until you're ready or until the context calls for it. Ultimately, your past mistakes and weaknesses are chapters in your life, not your entire story. They've helped shape you, but they don't define you, and they certainly don't need to be public property. Relationships are among the most intimate and emotionally significant parts of our lives. Whether it's a romantic partnership, a close friendship, or even a developing connection, the dynamics between two people are deeply personal. While it's normal to seek advice or express emotions occasionally, sharing too many private details about your relationship with others, especially without your partner's knowledge or consent, can create unnecessary complications, misunderstandings, and even emotional harm. When you speak openly about the private aspects of your relationship, you're not just sharing your own experience, you're also revealing someone else's personal life. This includes everything from your partner's habits, flaws, and past, to your disagreements, intimate moments, and private conversations. While it may seem harmless in the moment, perhaps during a casual chat with a friend, it can erode the trust and respect that are foundational to any healthy relationship. The problem with oversharing is twofold. First, it exposes vulnerabilities that are meant to be held safely within the bond of your relationship. And second, it invites outside opinions and interference. Friends or family members who hear only parts of your story may develop negative opinions about your partner or give advice based on incomplete or biased information. This can lead to tension, judgment, or even pressure to make decisions that aren't aligned with your values or the true nature of your relationship. Furthermore, constantly discussing private issues with others can create a habit of emotional outsourcing. Instead of communicating directly with your partner and resolving issues together, you may become dependent on others to validate your feelings or mediate your conflicts. This weakens the communication between you and your partner, and over time, it can drive a wedge between you. Another layer to this issue is privacy in the digital age. Many people now take to social media to share updates, frustrations, or even jokes about their relationships. But what seems like a lighthearted post can quickly become a source of embarrassment or resentment. Your partner may feel exposed, disrespected, or misrepresented. Once something is shared online, it can't be taken back, and the impact can be long-lasting. Respecting the privacy of your relationship means honoring the sacred space between you and the other person. It's about creating a safe emotional environment where both people feel secure, valued, and free to be themselves without fear of being discussed or judged by outsiders. Even in difficult times, choosing discretion over disclosure can help preserve the dignity of your relationship and foster a deeper sense of trust and intimacy. True strength in a relationship doesn't come from how much you share with the world, it comes from how deeply you connect with each other when no one else is watching.